Hello, everyone. Hope we've been gaining a thing or two from previous session. I'm Karima and I remain your host. So, the next speaker is Udokaku, and she'll be talking on prompting 101, crafting effective prompts. You have the floor, Miss Ugochukwu.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you
Yes,
hear
I
me?
can. Yes, I can.
Okay. Am I also visible? Can you see me?
No, I can't.
1 second.
Oh, I can see you now.
Visible now? Yeah. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Udoka. And are you going to share the slides, Karen? I saw you were trying to share it before.
No, you can. You can share the slides.
Okay. So just give me 1 second. So Karen, I would suggest that you help me to share it. The device I'm using has sharing blocked for some. I don't know what's happening, but I cannot just share it.
You have access share. Can you kindly try again?
Okay. Try this again. It's taking forever. Come on. Just try
Please,
it.
what's the issue?
A new copy. So I have this file opened in my personal account, and I'm trying to open it now on my work device, and it's not opening up.
Okay, you can send the slide to me. Let me try sharing it.
Try this again. Oh my God. So sorry, everybody. Um, what's your email?
I'll send to you karim@abdurrahman@gmail.com.
Your full name as it appears here, right? No spaces.
Yes.
Yeah, I've sent it to you. Karimat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've sent it to you.
Okay. I haven't received it yet. Can you send it to me on WhatsApp? Because I haven't received it yet. Let me type it in the chat box.
Yeah, you should receive it now. Sent it a second time. Seen it?
Not yet. Mm.
Try to access this thing again. Well, the time is going.
Can you try and send me send it to me on WhatsApp?
Yeah. I'm actually trying to move it out of where I kept it. Have you received it?
Yes, I have.
Okay. on Google.
Can you see it?
Oh yeah, it came as PDF. Okay.
Hello, Miss Ugochu. Can you see the screen you
Yeah,
have shared?
yeah, I can see it.
Alright, you may begin.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining the session. And first of all, apologies for the situation we're having with the slides. My name again is Udokaku, and can you just go to the next section of this page? Oh, nice. My name is Udokaku, and I was speaking to you today about prompting one-on-one. Very importantly, just like our normal search, is there are skills that are required for us to be able to benefit from the vast amount of data that sits on environments like Google, right, to discover information that we want. The same also applies to generative AI solutions that we have currently with writing prompts. So today I'll be speaking to you about writing effective prompts. Before we go into speaking about prompts, I'll talk to you briefly about what large language models are and what actually forms the building blocks. This is like an overview session, and I'm not going to go in depth. But the focus of today is on prompting, so we're going to break that down really specifically and explore that. And so just go to the next slide. Let's start by talking about the LLMs. Currently, everybody is aware of LLMs like GPT-4, Llama that we use in our WhatsApp environments, right? But what exactly are large language models? And how exactly what makes them up? First of all, in simple terms, large language models are basically models that are built out of vast amount of data with applied mathematical methods on them. So mathematical methods like machine learning, using NLPs to implement the ability for you to use your natural language in extracting information from the data that exists already in these models. What this basically means is that these models have been built, they've used mathematical methods to be able to make predictions on what you're going to be expecting based off the inputs that you send into it, right? And they've also defined measures to implement controls to ensure that everything that you are interacting with, you're generating those informations in the confines of the regulatory laws within the environments that exist. For instance, the United States of America would have its own defined rules that they would need to be applied on any kind of solution that is being built. So for every of these models, they try to make sure that they incorporate all of these practices into this. But in simple terms, it's just multiple amounts of data combined together, acted upon on mathematical terms to generate inputs and help you to discover insights on those data. Simple terms. Now, in those simple terms as well, there's a lot that makes up those processes of generating data from these models. The whole mathematical process I'm talking about, statistical inferences that are done to make predictions, to understand, to identify patterns, to convert your text and your voice inputs and your video inputs into understandable tokens and vectors for your computers to understand and make connections and that make graph-like maps, right? Create neural networks internally so that when you make your prompts, it's able to point out that this word connects to this and this one connects to this one. So possibly this is the path that this person wants to go and this is the information that they need. So what actually are those little things that make up the jollof rice of LLMs? First of all, we have at the core of it, your machine learning models, your neural networks that helps to create those maps around your data inputs. And then you have deep learning and with all the combination of this and artificial intelligence, right, the statistical methods to make all of this happen is where we finally arrived at the creation of these models that are basically the combination of your data and all these building blocks together to deliver to you something that you can easily just plug into your applications or plug in your own words and generate what is important. Now, before I go out of this to talk about how you can create promptings and why this is important, and when I started talking initially, I talked about the fact that the owners and the builders of these large language models, make sure that they implement them in the confines of the compliance and ethical boundaries within the countries or locations that you're going to be using them. Well, it doesn't mean that it abstracts you as a user having to do things that are relevant to protect yourself. If you look at these large language models like a GPT-4s, you see that they specifically let out disclaimers to you. And sessions like this or training sessions like this, it's always very important to emphasize that while you're using these models, you need to understand what is being how your data is being used, how it's being processed, and all this information. The producers of these solutions always share it with you. So as a user, you want to ensure that the information you're putting into these models, especially for the ones that do not have data protection applied on them, right? So commercial or enterprise level data protection applied on them. Please make sure that the kind of information you're putting back there is not being returned to you. I had a friend fairly recently talk to me about she was using one of the large language models. I will not mention any name. Don't want to spoil anybody's business. But she was using the large language model. And she told me that she just sent a message some days ago and she came back when she asked the question, the response she got was there was no answer to that. They could not find any information. But what happened was that 3 days later, she came back to that same model and prompted it again on the same question. And it gave her the response of what she said before. So all of these models have memories in them, right? And you want to make sure that information you're putting in there is not something that is important to you or something that is highly private to you. So out of all the security and ethical practices that you need to implement on your user end, let's talk about prompting. Can you go up a bit? What is prompting? Yeah, so what is prompting? At the start of the session, I did mention that prompting is just like your normal search. But this time, we are using our words again, but we want to talk to these large language models that have been created or the large language models that have been connected to the applications that you use every day. So those applications become the interface for those prompts to be sent through those large language models. For instance, I'll use our current Microsoft Copilot, for instance, right? You prompt Copilot, it goes through some processes of Microsoft's own defined statistical methods and programming languages and processes that have already been applied, functions and all of that, and goes through an orchestrator and then to the LLMs that is built on, which is your GPTs, right? And now Microsoft Copilot basically becomes the interface to every other process that runs behind the scene and connects you to the large language model and brings back your data to you, right? So what is prompting? Regardless of where you are, you're on your WhatsApp, you're on your phone, you're wherever place you are, you're on the internet, and you're using any of the available generative AI solutions, Cloud AI, Microsoft Meta, and all the others, right? What you need to do is to communicate with these models in a way that suits the way they have been designed, right? The same way you would have been told when we're using our traditional search experience with like Google search and Bing search, or if you search with these patterns, you get more better results. If you search like this, you get more better results. The same thing applies to prompting. So prompting is the natural words that you use to get out the data. It's the process of using your natural words to get out the data that sits within the LLMs that have already been organized in a way that is easier and faster for you to access them. So why is it important? Just like I've said, the same way it is in your traditional sense, that it's relevant for you to understand how to communicate and get out the data that sits within your cloud services that you interact with to generate information. You also need to understand how best the systems operate so that you know what exactly you can send out to them and the kind of responses that you're expecting to get, how to specify your intentions to them, right? And get your information back. I always like to think about the present generative AI solutions like a personal assistant. Think about you are an event planner, for instance, right? Or you're a software engineer. You have busy schedules. You need somebody that's going to help you to just look over your shoulders, understand who you are, and find things for you, right? Or understand the way you talk, or understand what you're aiming to achieve and get out the information for you. That is the same approach that you want to really look. The same way you will talk to your personal assistant and say, hey, please get me this from here, from that, from this, and from that.
Sorry,
It's the
Miss
same approach you're
Ugochukwu.
going to be using for your
Sorry, can you
content.
hear me, Mrs. Ugochukwu?
Yeah, yeah.
You have 9 minutes to the question and answer session.
Okay, okay. Let's just go through this. I think we're in the most important part. Can you just scroll down? So what are the different types of prompts? There's a system prompt. So system prompt basically is the prompt that has been designed by the owner of by the manufacturers of the particular generative AI solution, right? It's also the prompts that you could use, for instance, to say, oh, you're this, I want you to react in this way. It helps you to specify things like behaviors for your generative AI solution. Someone is drawing on this thing. So your conversational prompts are prompts that are tailored like conversations, like you're having chats with a normal human being, right? Your contextual prompts are really in-depth and they require you to provide more information about it's in scenarios where you want to provide very detailed information to the generative AI solution you're working with. And then we have the direct prompts, just like name sounds, straight to the point, no walking around, no context, no any of that. Scroll down, please. Okay, so let's just scroll down. I've already walked through this. All right, so here comes the deal of the day, crafting effective prompts. For you to craft effective prompts, you need 4 core things. The first one is objectives, specifying what you need. Go to the next slide, please. There is one before this one. Yeah, the one beneath. Yeah, the one beneath. Okay. So you need your objectives. The objective is defining what do you want to get out of this response. For example, in the example I've already added here, create a compelling educational story into paragraphs. So the generative AI system already understands how this is where you're heading to, creating a compelling story. Fine. What is the next thing you need to do? Give it context. Who do you need to get this from? In situations where your generative AI solutions can reference people, right? There are some that can't. And why do you need it? So for this, I'm saying create a compelling story about effective prompting in AI systems for a beginner training. So I specified who and why I need it. And then the next thing is the source. Where is it going to be getting it from? If not, it will go through the vast amount of data it has and just keep spending time trying to discover the information you want. You want it to be fast, you want it to be quick, you want it to go straight to the point and get out what you want. I'm saying go to use the resources from IBM and from Microsoft Learn. And what's your expectation? How do you want this response to be generated? So what my expectation is, make it to be in an enthusiastic and informational tone. Please go up to the slide before this one. I just want to show the difference of what you get. So I did create this prompt and I sent out, the first one I sent, just create a story about prompting AI systems. And it went on and created a bunch of stories. This was longer than this, talking about all manner of things. And then I took this particular prompt in my example, go down, please scroll down. Scroll down to the next 2 slides, yeah. I took this particular prompt in the other example and told it more specifically, create a compelling educational story. And this. I can see that it specifically did what I needed. It went straight to the point, got the information from the different sources I mentioned, created a story around those informations it found, and it used the same structures that I set. So in a case where you want to send out, you want to research about a topic, and you just tell prompt this, find this for me. It's going to go get all manner of things for you. Sometimes you have to reprompt, make it iterative before you can finally get to the particular data source you're looking for. So if you're aware of those things, you might just specify or look for researchers within this area that have done this kind of research and generate this response for me because it has access to everything. right? So scroll down, trying to really wrap up so that I don't miss. So there are a couple of generative AI solutions like a ChatGPT, a deal for your images, Copilot, Bard, and all of that. Scroll down, next slide, please. So I was going to do a very quick demo, but I would skip that. But in conclusion, first of all, make sure your prompts are clear, they are concise. Use the 4 pillars: your objective, your context, the source you want, and your expectations. Think of AI as an assistant, like I've already said. Iterate, continue iterating, especially in situations where you don't give it a lot of context. You have to iterate until you get what you want. Validate your responses. Again, this is data and statistics combined. Like would always be mentioned by the producers, please review the responses for accuracy, right? So sometimes it might not really get what you want. Always review. Do not depend on AI to be you, right? Always use your human intelligence to review what it has generated. And also be patient, right? Learning to craft prompt will not fall upon you like a dream of the night. When we started this journey, I was part of the first people that already had access to Copilot, for instance, right? So, but it took us a journey to finally understand how to utilize the systems. So be patient, use publicly available training resources, especially on YouTube, or resources like Microsoft Learn or IBM, or from prompting.io to build your skills around learning how to prompt. And that will be all for it for today. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm out here in the chat.
Hello, everyone. Can you drop your questions in the chat box? You did say you wanted to do a demo in the absence of questions at the moment. If you still want to carry on with that.
Yeah, I can. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up, for this demo, I'd actually use some Copilot. Don't be offended, but yeah, I'll just use Copilot for this particular demo. Sign in. Okay. All right, can you see my screen? My almost 1 minute.
See, no, I can't see your screen.
Okay, sharing it again. Yep. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Yes.
All right. So let's just make a very quick example of what I did mention. And okay. So first of all, let's just say create guide, travel guide for Christmas. No details, whatever. Oh, my spelling. So you notice that it goes around getting all manner of things, generating, because you are not specific. But now this travel guide we're trying to create, we want to create a travel guide for a Christmas trip to Mexico. No, let's just use an example here. Sydney, Australia. during the summer break and for exploration and the wildlife. Use bullet points and images where possible. For 2 weeks. Nice. So now we're now specific. Initially, it just listed a bunch of countries because it has access to all the data that are relevant, right? So now we made it more tailored. We're traveling to Australia for 2 weeks during the summer, and we want to explore the wildlife, right? Now you notice that it gives us more details as to exactly what we are aiming to achieve. So when you're working with generative AI solutions, regardless of the one it is, this one I'm using is Copilot. But when you're working with anyone it is, you want to make sure that you give it context. You tell it where, when, what you want to achieve. Just use the who, what, why, when, and how, right? So when are you going to be working? When do you need this? Why do you need it? What do you want to do with it? How do you want it to be presented? So always have an objective, specify your objective, provide context, give your expectations on how you want this report to be generated. That is the very first step to creating effective prompt. And then you can subsequently continuously interact with the AI to generate more results. Like I said before, most of the AI solutions have memory. So they keep tabs, they use that to hold a temporary memory they use to hold, they keep track of your conversation. So it can have
Sorry, Miss
natural
Ugochukwu.
human flow to it. So I hope
Yeah,
that this helped. And
yeah, Miss Ugochukwu, there
yeah,
is a question in chat box. Can
okay.
you recommend any course that specifically teaches prompting?
Yes. So I did find fairly recently prompting.io. I think that's their URL. I'll just find it now. And search in the browser. Higher. There's some organization that have taken it upon themselves to prompt, to manage. No, this is not them. I think it's prompt.io. God.
So, I do have a question.
Mhm.
So, which one of the types of prompts gives a better response that sounds more human-like?
The contextual prompt, more detailed.
Mm, thank you. Okay.
And
So,
then there's the prompt body app. Yeah, there's a prompt body app. It's a publicly, I think it used to be only on GitHub. I don't know if they've released the desktop version of it. But yeah, there's a prompt body app on GitHub that provides you with prompts that you can use, right? And then there is a Copilot lab that basically gives you sample prompts to help you learn. It's free, it's public, it's for everybody. Anybody, anywhere can use it to learn how to prompt as well. And the organization I was trying to look for is a specific organization that has like a learn
thank you
part.
so much, Mr. Ugochukwu. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. Thank you all so much for joining. I hope we learned a thing or two. Thank you from the Data First Africa team. This session is now over and you may leave.
Unleashing the power of data excellence with Berkeley Data Strategists. Introducing Adi Ajibola, CEO and Chief Data Strategist, Berkeley Data Strategists. The world of data management is becoming vast and spreads to all domains you can think of. Presently, the entire universe is driven by data. Unlocking its true potential requires expertise and strategy. We are proposing to be your partner in harnessing the power of data excellence. At Berkeley Data Strategists, we specialize in consultancy and training services, offering comprehensive solutions in data management, record management, data quality, and data governance. Our tailored training programs. Training workshop, always in progress. A few of the courses include data governance, data quality, records management, and a whole host of others. Knowledge is the key to unlocking your team's potential, and you can count on Berkeley Data Strategists.